My 40F husband, 42M, wants me to sleep with other men. My husband and I have been married for 14 years, but have known each other since I was 7 and he was 9. We were neighbors and his family lived just a few blocks away from mine. We were the best of friends growing up and started dating when I was 13 and he was 15, but broke up when he left for college at 18. During that time, he's had the whole college experience, while I focused more on my education and career, so I never really dated anyone. We reconnected when we were 22 and 24 respectively, and have been together ever since. Needless to say, he was more than surprised that I was never with anyone in the 7 years we were apart. It just never felt right. Now I know he's been with several women before, but it never really bothered me. I've pretty much indulged every sexual fantasy he's ever had as long as he promised that sex was just for us. I told him that all I wanted was a committed and monogamous relationship with him, and it's been that way since. About a month ago, he dropped a bomb. I've always encouraged him to be open and honest with me about anything, but it was still a shocker. Apparently, he's always had this fantasy about me having sex with other guys while he watches. The very thought of this made me violently ill, and I told him that I would never do it. He tried to argue for a bit, but he dropped it, or so I thought. We own several small businesses together, but I've since taken a step back after we had kids. I still help out with management every now and then though. A few days after that encounter, I came by the office to have lunch with him and help with some paperwork, and I've noticed that some of the staff, especially the younger guys, started acting all flirty with me, which I found very inappropriate. I told my husband, but he just shrugged and smiled, saying it was normal because I was attractive. Even when he had a few of his buddies over to watch basketball, one of his friends openly flirted with me in the kitchen while I prepared their snacks. Again, I told my husband, but he just shrugged it off. He never really brought up that fantasy of his directly, but since then he's been casually mentioning how good-looking this person or that person is, almost as if he's trying to set me up with them. Every time I call him out on it, he just says he's not doing anything wrong and that he's just talking. I'm at the end of my rope. I've always found pride in the fact that I've only ever been with one man. It's always been special to me, and he knows this, but it doesn't seem like he respects that at all. I've always been devoted to him since we were kids, but he doesn't seem to value my commitment and loyalty at all. Every time I try talking to him about it, he says he's already dropped it, yet I always have this gut feeling that the people flirting with me were doing it with his encouragement. Before that, everyone knew how devoted I was. What should I do? I definitely don't want a divorce because I do love him with all my heart, but this whole thing has been driving me crazy. Any advice? Edit Tad, I don't want to have sex with other men. I never have, and I probably never will. The very idea makes me sick. I only ever wanted to do it with him because I always believed that sex should be reserved only for someone you love, but I don't really push this narrative to others. That's just me. Relevant comments. John. Wow. I would not think he told any of his workers anything. I would definitely assume he told his friends to try and bang you. Don't do anything you're uncomfortable with. No judgment here, everyone is different. If he doesn't listen to you, maybe that's the end. OOP. I think he told the employees because they used to be very respectful of my personal space, and none of them really flirted with me till recently. And yeah, I definitely won't do it. I've always loved to indulge what he likes doing, and I try my best to make him happy and feel loved, but this is a stretch too far. More on the employees and his friends. Yeah, now that I think about it, he is trying to wear me down. I'm not exactly sure what it is he told his employees and friends though, so it's hard to judge them outright. But yeah, maybe I wasn't being firm enough when I said I won't do it. When told by a downvoted commenter, what's the problem? He wants me to have sex with other men. I don't. Suddenly a lot of guys at work and one of his friends starts flirting with me and he just acts like it's no big deal. That's a problem for me. When asked if she ever fantasized about other men. I've sometimes had crushes on movie stars, but my husband has always been my number one. Never wanted anyone since I was little and still don't despite the bullshit. And regarding kinks, trust me, we've tried pretty much everything and still do. I'm not a prude, I just value commitment and monogamy. Update, 1 month later. So it's been a month since I posted and a lot has happened since, so I figured I'd update you guys now that things have somewhat settled in a way. Here's what happened. A few days after I posted, my husband had his friends over again. As I was making their sandwiches, One of his friends came up behind me and grabbed my waist and started calling me beautiful and smexy. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my previous post, but I don't like being touched by others unless I'm close to them. Instinctively, I stabbed him with the butter knife, and while it was dull, I did hit him hard enough to draw a bit of blood. His friend started cursing at me and my husband, who rushed in the room after he heard me scream. His friend kept saying, "You said it was okay," over and over. I'm not exactly sure what happened next, cause after I slapped my husband, I walked right out of the kitchen and locked myself in our room. I've never felt so unloved and disrespected in my entire life. Our kids were at my mother-in-law's house BTW. I didn't leave there till the next morning and found my husband sleeping on the couch smelling of booze. After he sobered up, we talked. It was long, but to summarize the whole thing, apparently, a few of his buddies were into wife swapping and sharing them with other men. Swinging is what he called it, if I remember correctly. One just liked sharing his wife with other men. They talked a lot about their sexual adventures, and my husband said he got jealous and it made him miss his promiscuous past, and he started fantasizing about it. I reminded him of my boundaries, and he said he was so caught up in the fantasy, he didn't think anything else mattered. He said that night was a wake-up call, and for the first time, he was genuinely afraid of losing me. I know he's not lying. I've known him for over 3 decades, so I can easily tell when he's being genuine. I told him how disrespected I felt the last few weeks where people in his life would flirt with me. I told him how miserable it made me feel that he wasn't taking my commitment to him seriously. I told him that as much as I loved him, the sight of him makes me boiling with rage. He said he understands, but that he'll do anything to make it up to me. To make things clear, I'm not mad because of his fantasies. I'm mad at the disrespect he's shown me since his confession, and he has acknowledged this. Long story short, we are currently separated. I just couldn't stand living with him at this moment in time. The kids and I moved out and are now living in his sister's guest house. It's great here, and the kids love being around their cousins and my mother-in-law, who's been living in the guest house since before we moved in. His sister knows the story and is on my side, and his mother just knows that he messed up. I'm in low contact with my husband now. He's in therapy, which is good for him. I'm also in therapy to help deal with what's going on. He has also told me that he cut all contact with his circle of friends, and in the few times I went to the office to drop the kids off to him, no one flirted with me. I still love my husband, so reconciliation is definitely on the table, and neither one of us has brought up divorce yet. He knows what he needs to do and what he needs to work on, and kicking his friends out was a good start. After some time, we'll do marriage counseling, but only after I've seen him put in the work. He knows he has to win me back and never take me for granted again. I'm hopeful for our family to be together again and that I can get my old loving husband back, but at the moment, I'm just trying to hold it together for my kids. This sounded more like a rant, but it's been rather cathartic. Thanks for the advice in my last post. I appreciate every single one of them. TL/DR, we are separated, but we both want to reconcile eventually. Edit. I'm here to clarify a few things. I didn't force him to cut off his friends. It was something I would have brought up once MC was coming up, but he did so voluntarily. I'm pretty sure my husband never slept with any of their wives. I don't doubt that he wanted to, though. He simply never had the time nor the means to do so. Most of the time, he and his friends hang out at our place. All of his time in the business is accounted for, so he never comes home late, nor is he secretive of his phone. He swears up and down that he never slept with anyone else, and I've known him well enough to know he isn't lying. Reconciliation is something that's not guaranteed. He'll have to show me he's changed, or rather he's found his old self again. He'll have to sweep me off my feet again, and I definitely won't make things easy. It's not something that will happen overnight, though, and I still haven't forgiven him yet. It's like, I love him and hate him at the same time, if that makes sense. No, we won't be seeing other people. Final comments. Alien Goddess 91. He gave his friends permission to touch you like you were a pet dog. Yeah, it's okay to pet OP. I don't understand how reconciliation is on the table. You deserve better. OOP. I know I deserve better, which is why we're separated. I know what kind of man he truly is, and I love that version of him more than anything, so I want nothing more than for him to find himself again. Anon 211812. That's just seeing your husband in rose-tinted glasses. This is your husband. He decided that he wanted to try and force you into this open relationship. No one forced him into it. He said it himself. He just got jealous and tried to make you play along with it. What else is he gonna get jealous of and try and force you to do?